Welcome and good evening. It's January 17th, 2025, and I'm interviewing war hero John Jeckovich of the Battle of the Bulge during World War II. How are you doing today, Mr. Jeckovich?
Very good, very good.
You're looking well. You're looking well. Hard to believe you're knocking on the door of 100. Hard to believe you're knocking on the door of 100. God's been good to you.
Huh?
God's been good to you. You're knocking on the door of 100. So, I heard you had a special visitor today.
What?
I heard you had a special visitor today.
Yeah.
Who'd you have visiting you?
Amber.
Amber Nicole Jeckovich. That's Mr. Jeckovich's great-granddaughter.
Yeah.
And she came by for several hours to visit Mr. Jeckovich at his house. And she's a wonderful girl. She's a full-time missionary and an avid surfer. She travels the world, chasing the wave, and she's got a kind heart, a very kind heart. She spends a lot of time visiting her great-grandfather. There's a difference between being egocentric and Christocentric, and it shines through with Amber. Amber's Christocentric, and she comes here humbly and spends a lot of time with her grandfather. So it's a great thing. It's a good thing. So we're reading your book talking about opening and closing your laundromat. Do you remember doing all that?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Does it feel like yesterday?
Well, I'm trying to forget it.
You're trying to forget the laundromat? That was a good experience in your life.
Yeah, but I still remember the hardships.
Well, I guess we have to know hardships to understand good. Well, I'll start reading the book, but I'll need your dog tag number.
42965.
The dog tag number is the number that opens the laptop. We're in studio, what studio is it? We're in studio F6 today, and we have about 28 minutes left. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the United States Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Mr. Jeckovich was frontline combat fighter. There's only about 6,000 left of the actual combat fighters frontline left in this world. Most of them are late 90s, early 100s, and we're losing them at a rate of 150 combat fighters per day. So if you have any questions or text or comments, please text Mr. Jeckovich at area code 407-366-0000. Text Mr. Jeckovich at area code 407-366-0000. However, we're a little bit different at Hague Point, Tefusky Island, South Carolina. We say it differently so that people in North and South Carolina can understand us better. Text us at 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. A couple text messages came through. Would you like to answer?
Go ahead.
When you got out of the service, what type of employment did you look for?
I look for something I could support a family.
And what did you find?
I wound up with Kimberly Clark.
And you worked there for 35 years?
Yeah.
And you ran the laundromat?
Yeah.
And you ran your woodworking business?
Yeah, and I had a truck I plowed too.
And simultaneously you plowed?
Yeah.
So you had like 4 jobs?
Yeah.
Your father had 3 jobs, and he was worked to death as a great immigrant from Russia, making the United States better and supporting his family. He died at the age of 43 mixing cement. Did your father mix cement by hand?
He started, but he got a mixer. We bought a mixer. We mixed it in a mixer.
That's a hard job, mixing it by hand.
Yeah.
Was your father a very outgoing person?
What?
Was your father a very outgoing person?
Oh, yeah.
I see. And did your father have a driver's license?
No,
Did your father have a car?
no. He had a car in the garage, the Packer, but I never drove it.
I see. And did your mother have a driver's license?
No.
I see. Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925, and now here we sit at 2025, and back then gas was 7 to 9 cents per gallon. Cost of a nice house was $2,000 to $3,000. A car cost was $700. And the only type of phones you had back then, what kind of phone did you have back then?
Phones?
Phone, was it on the wall?
Wall phone on a wall.
And what happens when you picked up the phone? What
Well, there was a party line, and he had to listen or stop talking.
I see. So it was a party line, meaning other people shared the phone, and once they got off, you had a rush to make your call.
Yeah,
But actually, you had a lot of freedom with your life then, because your phone is attached to the wall of your living room, and once you leave that house, you're not bothered. You're free. Now today, everyone's got their phone in their pocket, their laptop, and every 15 minutes it
Yeah.
rings for things that are just nothing but frivolous. Nothing but frivolous. It's a great babysitting tool, sometimes used for children, due to the fact they sit there and play games on it. But look around next time you go to a restaurant, how many children have their phones on the table playing games? That's not a good idea to do. What you're seeing there is that the parents, the mothers and fathers, are scared of the kids. They're afraid to discipline them, so they let them sit at the dining room tables all day and every day in the middle of the meal, playing with their phones. Wrong thing to do. And these parents are scared of their kids. They don't want to rock the boat. No way, shape, or form. No way, shape, or form. So that's what's going on with the phones then. We had phone back then. It was freedom, and it was a great thing. The father worked, brought home a paycheck, usually on Fridays, and the mother did the shopping.
Yeah.
$20 or $30, you're good for the month.
yeah.
You could buy a beautiful house for $2,000 or $3,000, and the mother took care of the children. It sounds a lot simpler today. The husband's working 3 jobs, the mother's working 4 jobs. No one's home. Kids are running wild. Groceries are very expensive. A house no one could afford. Rents are through the roof. But we have all these beautiful gadgets. We have Facebook.
Well, that 8-year-old got killed by his own.
Yeah, that's a horrible thing. We have all these beautiful gadgets. We have cell phones and laptops and Facebook. It's no good. It's ruining your life, but you don't even know it. You're ignorant of the fact that you're ignorant. This was a simple life these people had back then. A simple life. Okay, I read many weeks ago that you jogged for 80 years. That's probably why you're here today. What advice would you give to a youngster that wants to start jogging today?
Start out small. Start out small and keep at it. Don't stop. And when you run, don't stop. Set a goal, reach the goal, and increase the goal every other day.
So set small goals.
Huh?
Set small goals.
Yeah.
When Mr. Jeckovich started jogging 80 years ago, old corduroy pants, army boots, or a sweatshirt, and you'd be running down the streets, most probably in the snow, I'd imagine. And what did people yell at you?
Get off the street, you bum.
Get off the street, you bum. It wasn't acceptable nor fashionable 80 years ago to be jogging. They thought you're jogging because you're a bum, and you couldn't afford transportation. What kind of things did they throw at you, Mr. Jeckovich?
Right.
What kind of things did they throw at you?
Rocks, they sold stones, they sold cans of soup, probably, and everything else.
Yeah, many times they threw empty cans of Genesee beer, Mr. Jeckovich, and one time some wise ass threw a full can of Campbell's soup and popped him right in the back of the head. It didn't stop him, he kept on running. Ironically, all those Weisenheimers that said derogatory things to Mr. Jeckovich 80 years ago, they're all pushing up daisies. All pushing up daisies. So it's funny how things were much simpler then. Fill up your gas tank, the whole damn tank, for $2 or $3 per gallon. And there's a family unity. Try to find a family unity today. They're all spread about in every which way, direction. Yeah. On the way to the studio today, Mr. Jeckovich, I seen people jogging, which is a very acceptable pastime today. They were wearing very expensive outfits like blue and orange and yellow, like leotards and matching shoes, matching hats, matching gloves, and they even had wrapped around their waist water bottles.
Yeah.
I imagine that's very, very expensive. Did you, later in your life, did you get all geared up like that?
No.
And so you jogged in the same things?
I walked past them when I got Thursday, I got Hover Track.
So you never took the trash and the fashion trend of getting all gussied up. That's good. And you said just recently you worked at Kimberly-Clark for 35 years. Did you ever miss a day?
Nope. Never late.
Did the tires of your vehicle ever touch the Kimberly-Clark parking lot?
No.
How'd you get there?
Walk.
Snowstorm?
Walk.
Big rainstorm?
Walk.
Wow. And you never missed a day?
No.
And so in between all that, shift work, explain, many people don't know what shift work is. Explain what shift work is.
Shift worker, and you work at three, 1 week you work at midnight, next week you work afternoon, the next week you work days, which is a crazy way of living.
Yeah. And in between that shift work, you ran the laundromat.
Ran the laundromat and did odd jobs.
Snowballing?
Yeah.
So you're busy. And so if someone would see you from work in the laundromat, what would you tell them?
Right.
You're a part-time worker at the laundromat.
Well, if they're, I say I work here for a job. I'm looking for a job.
So you never told them you owned it?
No.
Okay, I understand. Well, you lived in Niagara Falls, New York, and you lived in Florida. I think you had like a 40 or 50 years retirement. God bless you, not too many people can do that.
1980.
So you had like a 40-year retirement. 40, that's, God bless you. Now, looking back on it, what advice this young person is asking, what advice would you give him? He's interested in moving to Buffalo or Florida. What would you tell him? I
would say, with the culture the way it is today, I would stay with Buffalo.
Stay in Buffalo.
Stay in Buffalo. Get the cold weather. Endure the cold weather.
Yeah. So you think it's a lot better than living in Florida?
Florida is all screwed up, yeah.
So you think Buffalo's more of a family place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing they're famous for is Kimmelwick rolls. It's called beef on wick. And if you Google that, it's only a setup in Buffalo or Niagara Falls, primarily by the DiCamello Bakery. It's a very hard roll with rock salt on it. Publix in Florida attempted to duplicate it, but the weather and the pressure and everything just didn't work. So people, say football teams, baseball teams, and any type of team that would be visiting Buffalo, the first thing they do is they go order a beef on wick. It's called a beef on wick, and that's a roast beef in the center with that hard roll on top, I guess with a little gravy.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of beef on wicks when you lived there?
No, I thought it was. I just chanced it and that was it.
What's that?
I just took one or two. My mother used to make that stuff.
You didn't make it a habit, though.
Yeah.
But that's a very popular dish, and many people try to duplicate that in other states. It just didn't work, but that's pretty much what they're famous for. And a lot of people don't understand this. During Mr. Jeckovich, when he was a boy, Buffalo had more millionaires than any other state, any other city.
Buffalo is a prosperous city, yeah.
Yeah, and now Buffalo being revitalized, I just was reading reports in Zillow that it's the most active city, I should say, to sell or rent. All the rents up in Buffalo are going up 18% per annum.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting thing that Buffalo is taking off, yet Niagara Falls used to be a city when Mr. Jeckovich was a boy. Now it's termed as a village because they lost 80% of their population.
Yeah.
They're down to about 11,000. Now it's called a village. Would you ever move back to Niagara Falls?
No.
When you lived at 3063 Orleans Avenue, you were like a full-time worker there. You worked around the clock, keeping the place tip-top. I heard you had reports of what it looks like now. Could you tell me?
It's a shithole, yeah.
What is
Terrible,
it?
Terrible, terrible.
Did you say shithole?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
I see it.
someone showed you
We go through once in a while, that was it.
But didn't you volunteer as a snow plower? You plowed all the alleys during the winter. Did the neighbors appreciate it?
Some of them did. Some of them, when you plow, you gotta leave a furrow somewhere, on each side of the alley. And they come out and say, well, you had it in front of my driveway. I said, well, get a shovel and shovel it out. You're only shoveling 2 feet, shovel the whole driveway.
14 minutes.
So some people, even though you volunteered to plow the driveway, which was a lot of work, some people complained.
Yeah.
Wow.
I used to get up 5 o'clock, plow the alley, and go right around the block.
Wow. When Mr. Jeckovich worked at his laundromat, it was on 2nd and 3rd Street in Niagara Falls, New York. You could actually throw a stone and you hit the actual falls itself. But wasn't it a beautiful sound when you were working there? You could hear the roar.
Oh,
the thunder of the falls.
Yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning, yeah.
Isn't that nice? Wow.
There was no nonsense going on around then, but that is now.
How about now?
I would never build one. I would never build one now.
The culture's wrong, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
They'll tear it apart just to be nasty.
Wow. Another young fella asked from Battalion, New York, he's thinking of starting a snowplow business. What would you respond to him?
In Battalion, New York, well, it's going to have to snow, yeah. Get good equipment, know what you want to do.
What kind of equipment would he get?
Yeah, and know if you want to do that, because you get a lot of problems with that.
What kind of equipment should he buy?
You got to buy 4-wheel drive, real substantial car, mostly an international.
Yeah.
You get a good plow, Myers plow.
Myers plow.
Yeah.
Is that M-E-Y-E-R-S? Myers
Right.
plow? Myers plow?
Yeah.
And do you know where your plow is today?
Right?
Do you know where your plow is today?
No, I had no idea. No, I don't know, we didn't sell it. Yeah, we sold it, yeah.
You know, that plow is a lifetime piece. You're not gonna, it's not gonna go away. It's not gonna
If you don't abuse it, no.
You trade some hydraulics on it every 3 years.
Yeah,
It's cast iron, it's not gonna break.
yeah,
So maybe it's being used right now.
yeah. Someone's got it, someone's got it.
Using it right now. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Another person asked me from Poughkeepsie, New York, they're planning on getting married in the spring, and they heard that through these readings you had a 69-year marriage. What advice would you give to her that she's going to get married in the spring?
Know who you're marrying.
And how long were you married for?
Yeah, we were married 69 years.
A side note, Mr. Jeckovich proposed to Delphine Stulak in the Basilica, the Roman Catholic Basilica in Lackawanna, New York. And after Delphine Stulak accepted the marriage proposal, they went up on the altar and they said a prayer in the Basilica asking for a long and happy marriage. How'd that work out?
That worked out pretty good. 69 years.
It worked out pretty good. Another question from a person in Phoenix, Arizona. During World War II, what was your weapon assigned to you?
I had an M1, a pistol, and a 30 caliber machine gun.
And describe the machine gun, because you said it was a big, heavy machine gun.
Well, that was a squad organization. I was in heavy weapons, either mortars or machine guns. I had machine guns, 30 calibers. A squad, one person took the tripod, another took the receiver, and then the rest of the squad had ammunition back and forth.
An interesting fact that you mentioned several months ago, the machine gun would be such a rapid fire weapon, the barrel got red hot. How'd you cool down the barrel?
Antifreeze.
And water, right?
Well, it was water cooled, yeah. You wouldn't trust the barrel, though.
In the Ardennes Forest, middle of nowhere, where did you get your water from?
Any stream you found.
And then you put the little antifreeze on it.
Yeah.
And then what happens if you weren't if you got complacent with the weapon and you weren't thinking and you grabbed the barrel, what would
You
happen?
burn your fingers right down to the bone.
Right down to the bone. Did you witness that?
Yeah, recruits come in and they grab it, and I said, don't grab it like that. And they do it.
They're disabled for life.
Yeah.
Now, you also mentioned you had an M1 carbine. Did you use that often?
Well, I was equipped when I was a scout leader, so I had a carbine. I'm familiar with M1. I'm familiar with a pistol, and I'm familiar with a rocket launcher too.
All right, let's talk about the pistol. Did you use the pistol much?
No.
Did your partner, Donald Lape, use the pistol much?
No.
I see. Did you use your M1 carbine much?
That was a solo carbine. I'd rather have the carbine than an M1. M1 is too clumsy. Probably more accurate, more distance to get out of a M1 than a carbine.
Did many of the soldiers have bayonets on their weapons?
Pardon?
Did many of the soldiers have bayonets on their weapons?
No, I've never seen a bayonet on.
You never seen a bayonet?
Nah.
So that's just the movies?
No, there was no hand-to-hand combat.
That's
no.
just the movies?
Yeah, no hand-to-hand combat, no.
That's just the movies then?
Yeah.
Okay, we resolved that issue. Wow. So that was just the movies. Did the Army equip you with the proper clothing to face the 20 and 30 degree
Not
blow?
for the beginning. When we went over there, I was 19 years old. I wore the buckled shoes I wore in school with the buckles
explain
on.
what those are. Buckled what? Rubber boots?
No, they were boots that went up to your calf, and when you put them on your head, it's secured. You had full buckles on. You just snap the buckles over.
That can't keep
I
you warm.
wore boots like that to go to school.
That can't keep you warm.
No, then they came out with waterproof shoes and boots and everything else.
So you didn't have the proper clothes.
8 minutes.
Then at the end, during the start of the spring season, they started coming with all that stuff, and it was too late.
But did you say that the rear echelon was taken?
Well, they picked it up and they used it, yeah, or sell it. They probably sold it.
Oh, okay, let me understand this. Was there a big black market there?
Oh, yeah, big market.
What kind of things were they selling?
Everything. They could sell everything they could get a hold of.
Did you say one of the high brass stole a boat and had it shipped back to the United
Yeah,
States?
had a boat shipped back, had the government supported and everything else.
And the government paid for it.
Never paid for it.
But the government paid for the shipping,
The shipping.
and he basically stole the boat.
Yeah, but he picked up a boat and some person that was the German there, and he's probably passed away. He was back in his garage. He saw it. He grabbed it.
Well, I think that's still going on today. The government shipping everything for free. I mean, for these guys.
I don't think they're doing that much. We're not occupied in any countries right now.
Yeah, but let me ask you another thing. When you were in Paris, was there a big black market there?
Oh yeah, black market and everything, sex, everything.
What did you tell your fellow soldiers that are in the front line if they wanted to pick up a German knife or a German Luger? What did you tell them?
I said, if you get it, ship it home right away. Don't put it in your pocket and leave it there, because if you get picked up and the Germans pick you up, they'll kill you.
Right on the spot.
Yeah.
Right on the spot. Another person said that he was listening to us some weeks ago, and you said there was many Nazi soldiers dressed up like Americans to infiltrate.
Oh yeah, they were in infiltration all the time. Yeah.
And so how'd you find them?
When they started talking, their accent gave them away.
And so what'd you do with them?
And I said, where do you live? Buffalo, New York, or Niagara Falls, New York? Tell them what city you lived in. They couldn't answer the questions.
You know, they weren't prepared. But what happened to those Nazis imitating American soldiers?
Well, they either got shot as spies, or they just evaporated away.
And I wonder where they got the American uniforms from.
Well, black market. They probably killed a soldier and took his uniform.
Yeah. Was a lot of guns being sold during World War II?
Why?
And during Paris, was there a lot of guns being sold in the black market?
In Paris?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a main expressway in Paris. Yeah.
Isn't it funny, the Eiffel Tower survived World War II?
Yeah.
And 2 months ago, we had a young fella from Paris standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, and he gave a great speech to you, stating, Mr. Jeckovich, thank you for World War II, for liberating this city.
Oh, yeah, France was under German occupation for 4 years.
Yeah, and this was a fellow that probably his great-grandparents were alive during World War II. And so there's so many appreciative people in France because they were liberated.
Yeah.
And the Nazis were total animals when they occupied France. They killed, they tortured, they raped, they stole.
Yeah.
A lot of art, a lot of precious art is still missing today. A lot of precious art.
4 minutes.
So that was interesting. When you were in Paris and Bavaria and outskirts of Germany, did you witness and see many big castles?
The castles. I went through one of them, yeah.
Where was that at?
Berghaus Castle up in the mountains. That was Hitler's hideaway.
Yeah. I think that Berghaus Castle was built in 1536.
Yeah.
And could you imagine all the wars it's survived?
Yeah, it was built like a fort.
And could you imagine the Eiffel Tower survived?
Oh, yeah.
An interesting side note, when Paris was occupied by the Nazis, Hitler wanted to go to the top of the Eiffel Tower. And the fellows that work at the Eiffel Tower secretly disconnected the power to the elevator, and they told him that the only way up is the walk. Only way up is the walk.
So he didn't walk, so he didn't go.
Yeah. And were the French good fighters eventually?
For their country, yeah, for their country. But they were trained, fully trained. They didn't have their equipment like the United States and England. No, they didn't have it.
Were England good fighters?
England would fight if they're fighting for their own country, yeah.
Yeah. How about Canada? Were they good fighters?
Canadians were good fighters too, yeah.
Wow.
They were hooked up with the United States.
How about the Russians? Were they good fighters?
The Russians were good fighters. They were real tough because they were used to the cold weather.
Yeah, the Russian
When we got the
front.
cold weather, there was nothing to them, but it was something for us.
That was a big mistake Hitler made by starting war with Russia. Now he's fighting on all fronts.
Yeah.
And Russia has millions and millions of people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and most of them are fanatics. And when the World War II ended in the European theater, it was still going on in the Pacific. Were you interested in going to the Pacific
No, I
theater?
wasn't interested, but we were concerned that they might ship us at once.
Because they were short on fighters.
Yeah.
So you survived World War II in the Battle of Bulge, so you were on pins and needles because you thought
I
they
didn't
were
want to go to the Pacific. The Japanese are crazy. They
So
go in
you-
little holes. They go in little holes and swallow in there, and you got to blow out with a blowtorch.
Yeah. An interesting side note, some of the fighters were truly fanatics, and as late as 1974, some of the Japanese fighters in these holes still thought a war was going
Yeah,
on.
and they're hiding. They got married and they got a farm or something.
Yeah. So you're glad you didn't go to Pacific?
No, I'm glad we didn't. Well, they dropped the bomb.
Well, there was one soldier that couldn't wait till European theater war ended because he
Patton, yeah.
wanted to get to the Pacific. Who was that?
Patton, he was at all competing with Eisenhower.
So he wanted to. He figured this is done at the Europe. This is done in Germany. There's nothing for me, but I could get over to the Pacific and be really in the
I
heart of.
make a big name for competing with Eisenhower, yeah.
An interesting note: Patton was also in World War I, and so was Hitler, and so was Eisenhower. They were both in World War
Yeah. Well, Eisenhower come out of Westport.
Yeah, and they were both in World War I. Minutes?
30 seconds.
So tell us about the brief experience you had with Patton
But Patton?
when you're in the barn.
Well, I told Jeep when you park that Jeep, your Jeep and the trailer camouflage it because they'll pick it up. Well, he didn't do a good very job, and Patton picked it up. One of his scouts picked it up and turned it back to him, and he looked at it and said, "Get these goddamn people out here, get them out of the front line." So we were signaling in the barn, come on, and said, "Get up, 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 get